I'm really grateful that you could spare us the time to join us for a really quick, critical climate conversation. Is it all right if I introduce you to the viewers that are watching? So this is Susan Meredith. She's the Deputy Chief Executive of the Charity Retail Association. The CRA is the voice of charity retail. Charity Retail Association has around 11,000, represents 11,000 charity shops.
Well, that's the number of shops in the UK charity retail sector. We've got about 80% of those shops.
Fantastic. And is it right that your membership also represents, or the sector represents, around 25,000 employees, full-time equivalents? And yep, around 233,000 volunteers.
That's correct, yeah.
That's huge. So your representation is quite enormous across the UK.
Yes.
Susan, do you want to tell us, just start by telling us a little bit more about the CRA and how you, as a sector, sort of fit into the general environmental and circular economy space?
Sure. Well, our members are charities that run shops or might be thinking about running shops, whether they're on the high street or out of town or even online at the moment. My role there is as Deputy Chief Executive, I kind of look after member services for charity members and our corporate members. For the most part, our sector is known for having a positive effect on the climate due to its kind of core concept of reuse, selling donated goods, and keeping items that may have been disposed by unsustainable means out of landfill. The figure that we've been working on from our research in 2019 is 339,000 tonnes of textiles that are diverted.
Wow.
Being disposed of by potentially unsustainable means. And that's only textiles, so that doesn't include media, homewares, furniture, electricals.
Right, that's really...
Yeah, there's a significant impact in that space, but we also recognise that as many industries do, there's property involved, there's transportation involved, there's administrative practices involved, and all of these can be looked at and definitely improved in terms of sustainability.
Yeah, and in terms of the association, are you working really closely with the charities that form part of your membership to try and address some of these challenges? You just listed about 5 different challenges there around freight and logistics and waste management and all those sorts of things. Are they, what is the hottest, I guess, what would be the thing that are keeping your members awake at night in terms of the things that they would need to solve?
Well, I think as a sector, some of our members have been doing a lot of work in this space already, and last month we ran an online conference called Green Charity Retail, and we tried to harness some of the work that our members have been doing. So, for example, British Heart Foundation in 2019, they won Greenest Charity Retailer of the Year, and they presented a session on what they've been doing to be greener. So it was all the things you think of, like reducing use of single-use plastics, recycling as much as possible, building a more ethical supply chain. So I suppose it's those things that they can work on. But I think we've got 450 members.
Mm-hmm.
The members the size of British Heart Foundation, we've probably got about 20 of those members who have huge chains. Most of our members are small and, like us, at the beginning of this whole journey. So yeah, we're just starting. We ran the conference to try and get more people thinking about it, and then going forward, like we've joined CAFA, we'll be introducing definitely more things to think about and taking action.
Absolutely. And are you, in terms of understanding what your members want from you, do you have ongoing communications, and will you be researching them? How will you, I guess, understand what it is that your members are looking for you for support? And have you got a sense of the timeline around when you might start delivering more and more resources and support to the membership?
Yes, well, in fact, our CEO this morning put out a communication saying, now we're coming out the other side of COVID, we're turning our gaze to two main things, one of them being sustainability. So there will be a lot more work on this. We have very active interest groups, and the one that covers this is stock and recycling. So they're always discussing sustainability and ways to go about it, and these meetings are always captured in reports that we disseminate out to membership. We always pull out the best ideas and try to use them in presentations for other events. We've got our annual conference that we're actually holding face-to-face bravely in September, which will have sustainability sessions. I've pulled out I've downloaded the CAFA climate action plan, read it all, and as well as applying it to ourselves as a membership association, because obviously we have to get our house in order before we sort of guide our members, looking at how I can adapt that as a kind of template document for our members to at least have a place to start and know where to put measures in place. Yeah, what we're finding is a lot of associations are using that template action plan, like you say, to tailor, to adapt to their own scenario internally, but also how to address some of the needs of the members, and sort of cascading that information as a tool down and adapting that to to support. I guess in terms of, if we just stay on your membership for a second, would one of the challenges around your members, supporting your members, be that a lot of them are in leased buildings and perhaps being not necessarily in control of the physical or the built environment that they're operating out of, and being able to obviously monitor and measure the energy use and consumption around those buildings? So I would imagine that as a membership, you've got the reuse element of the service that you provide, but in actual fact, the buildings in which they're operating from might not necessarily be very sustainable, and I would imagine that would prove quite complicated as well in terms of setting carbon footprinting and setting baseline, and helping your members sort of start to be able to measure their carbon footprint efficiently. I feel like there's definitely some support in the CAFA action plan and the carbon calculator and all the tools and resources there that might be helpful for your membership from that perspective as well. That's great. Yeah, we do have one of our interest groups is property one as well. Some of the larger members do have sort of very developed property teams, so they'll be on it, and we can also harness their expertise as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And so just having a quick think about internally then, as an association, I know you're really early in your journey in terms of sort of your setting your own targets and starting to implement change internally, but have you got a sense of what your quick wins might be, or some of the things that you've already started to do that you might want to share with other associations who might also be at exactly the same point in their journey?
Well, I suppose it's not possible for everyone, but we have a bit of a head start in that we're a small team and we don't have an office anymore. So we are a completely home-based organisation. We had an extensive event schedule, which transferred very nicely online and has thrived online, and we're even better than we were before. So immediately there is sort of sustainable benefits there. We are looking to go back to face-to-face meetings. Not entirely, there'll be like a hybrid schedule, but that would mean if we're seriously taking action in this way, we need to seriously consider the venues that we use, and the things that go around the meetings, the catering, the documents, how we encourage people to get to the meeting, that kind of thing. So the quick wins, I think, have happened. Now we have to take it further.
Yeah, cascade that through to everyday working and operations. It's interesting, the conversations that we've been having with associations have been like a real acceptance that associate membership organizations have to build in sustainability into the business model and the ethos and the value and the culture, as opposed to it being a bolt-on. That's no longer an option. It's all about integrating more responsible business practices into every day, and how that sort of seeps through into employees and employee behavior, and now also into and across the membership. So it's an exciting time. Well, I can't wait to hear more about your progress as time ticks on, because obviously we're eight and a half years away to 2030, and there's not long to go. If you I guess one last question for you, Susan. If you could wave a magic wand and sort of project to 2030, and then you look at your sector, what sustainably wise, what would be the ideal? What would be the sort of dream scenario if you could flick a switch and the charity retail sector could transform overnight? What would that look like?
The dream scenario for me is that the sector becomes the destination of choice for the consumer of clothing, homewares, furniture, that we are considered equals or better than mainstream high street retail, or that we are mainstream high street retail, and we are heading in that direction. But I'd hope by 2030 that we are first in people's heads.
That's right. So the throwaway fashion, the throwaway home goods, or those goods that are not meant to last, etc., is that they're second choice, or that perhaps they're not even on the sort of top list. Absolutely. Well, with the Charity Retail Association doing a fantastic job, and I'm really grateful that you could join us this morning for our Climate Action for Associations critical conversations as part of London Climate Action Week. And thank you so much for your time. Really interesting. And like I say, I can't wait to see the change that your association is going to make over the next year or so. It's a really, really great case study, Susan. I think that one of the really important things is that, starting really early in your journey, there are so many other associations that are at the same point, and not to be put off. There are, to just get started, basically.
Well, thank you very much. And I think this membership has come just at the right time for us.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Susan.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.